Good morning. Our hand today is going to be Ace-5 of Hearts. This was played a couple days ago. We have early position player open raises to 2 big blinds. Min raise here. He's playing 21-12 over 42 hands. I'm going to assume that he plays fairly tight from early position. You can see that he's 0 for 9. I don't think he's going to play a huge number of hands. This is about 15.7. I'm trying to think, would he min raise all of his hands? I'm going to say probably not. I'm going to say like queens plus ace queen typically are bet a little bit larger. Same thing with jacks and tens. But he could be playing with min raise with some of these weaker hands here. That gets us to about 12%. It's folded to me. And I made a mistake here. I min raised here, min 3-bet. That's not what I wanted to do. I was trying to raise it up to 10, but on this site, if I have a second table open and it's my turn, that window captures the cursor. So here I am. I typed in, I clicked on the box. I go to type in 10. In that time between after I clicked it, but before I typed in 10, the focus of the window changed. So then I thought I was typing in 10, I didn't, and then as soon as I hit, the raise button, it raised. So not paying attention, not confirming that I was making the raise. So I think this kind of has an effect on the hand itself. So we're kind of going over it, not because I screwed up this pre-flop raise, but because we have an opportunity to c-bet. So this kind of folds back around to villain 6. Now with the min raise, I don't expect him to be folding anything, but we get a 4-bet here. And this is kind of what threw me off because I didn't really catch the min raise here. I only saw the 4-bet to 11.6 and I thought, holy cow, he actually 4-bet me. Versus this player, we have a fold to 3-bet of 100%, so 1 out of 1. I go look at, what does he have? I've got a 4-bet range of 5-4 suited. That might be actually his hand on this one. But, I don't have a huge number of hands, so it's kind of tough to judge what the 4-bet is. All I do know is that he had the opportunity once and didn't take it. So now he raised. And I think, reviewing this hand, I think this 4-bet probably came because I did this what I'm going to call a stupid min raise here. It shouldn't have happened. So I kind of think he's probably doing it with a lot of his range. He's just going to attack weakness. Now, do I agree with it? Not really. But we can kind of exclude some of these hands and say, okay, well, let's say he's going to 4-bet with ace-2 to ace-5 because he's got blockers. He's got maybe ace-jack, all of the ace-10. We'll say all of those blockers will eliminate like king-10. He probably just kind of calls with some of those. And then we'll leave, maybe these pocket pairs to say, okay, he's not going to have the pocket pairs because I think he probably would have just called there. But again, the min raise just kind of throws it off. Now, what about us? Well, when we look at our 3-bet versus early position player, that's our 3-bet. And then we've got a 3-bet call that looks something like this. So you can see it's not overly wide, and definitely ace-5 is not in our 3-bet or 3-bet and called range. We do have an expanded range, but this is kind of raise first in, so ace-5 isn't in there. Now what I did was took this like 3-bet or call. So 3-bet or call, kind of add those hands to it, and then said, okay, and I would have added ace-queen. What else can I add? Well, he did his min raise, so I'm going to say I attacked with ace-4 and ace-5 because I've got some blockers, and then I'm probably going to add those hands just because I don't think he's going to be overly strong. So I'm going to just slightly expand my range, and then once he 4-bet, I'm going to look at this and say, holy cow, I'm going to get rid of those. I'm going to actually, no, I'm going to keep him in there because I thought in this exact situation, I have position throughout the hand. Said I can call here. It's not too much. I'm basically have to call 7, 8 big blinds. Pot right now is 16.1, so I'm looking at 2 to 1. I need to be good 33%. I think with the ace-5, I am going to be 33%. I don't think I'm going to be way behind. Actually, I kind of think I'm anywhere from about 40% up to maybe slightly better than 50%, depending on what kind of hands he has there. So, if we're up against ace-jack, ace-10, we're dominated. We're beat pretty good, but we do have our flush draw to fall back on. So I did call. So let's continue. So now we have ace king 7 with 2 clubs. Ace king clubs and 7, and that's pretty good. We hit top pair. There's 2 aces accounted for now. There's only two left. We don't have a backdoor straight. We don't have a backdoor flush at all. And villain goes ahead and bets 9.3, which is a little more than a third pot, maybe about 40% or so. I think he's going to probably c-bet 100% of his range here. He's just going to attack because he 4-bet here. So now it's on us, and I think we could raise, we can call. I've got some issues with my kicker. That's the thing that I have. So while I wouldn't mind raising here, I kind of think that if I raise and he comes over the top, it's going to be tough for me to call. We are deep. I mean, you can see how deep we are. So I kind of think this is going to be a hand that I'm going to be calling with pretty much all the way. So I'm going to say middle pair plus. I'm going to probably call. I think I'm folding 8s to queens. I don't think it's necessarily worth it. Of course, we're going to be looking at 2-card backdoor. Some of our flush draws. Because I think he's just betting because he 4-bet. So I think we're going to have a pretty wide range of hands here. And our pocket pair, in terms of our pocket pair here, pocket pair below the second card, I do think some of the queens are calling. I think probably jacks are calling, especially if we have the club. So I don't want to add all of them, but the jacks and clubs, maybe I can exclude them a little bit later. I don't think 10s, 9s, or 8s are calling here. So that's going to be our calling range. I don't think we have a raising range, so I called it. And then the 8 of clubs hits, and that's actually, I think, pretty good. Pretty good for all the hands that we were looking at stealing, so like all of our gut shots and so forth. Now, villain bet, and he bet half pot, and I thought that was kind of interesting because at this point, he bet like 40%, and now he goes up to half pot to 50%. He's sizing up slightly, but not overly, but not too much. He could easily have gone larger, so I don't really think he has queen jack or queen 10 of clubs. I think those hands probably would have hoped for a check raise or something like that on the flop, or maybe a check raise right now. This is seeming like it could be. I don't even think it's like an ace queen hand. I think he could have bet larger or checked with ace queen and then bet here just to kind of see what I'm doing, see what I would do. So I'm not entirely convinced that he has a flush. And especially if he's got queen jack, I mean, I kind of think he's going to scale down size down a little bit. 2 pairs a possibility. I think top pair's a possibility. He could be bluffing. I mean, I guess that's the other thing. We're going to say he could have his flush draw here. Maybe open ender. 2-card gut shot needs a 10. I don't think he's going to be doing that. So we're going to look at like 85% at this point. I do think this is scary at this point. We are, facing, clubs. We kind of have to think, well, we still have the ace. Is he just betting because we did a stupid min raise? And a lot of players that do that they would call down with king, queen, king, jack. And that's the other thing we kind of have to consider. So are we raising at all? Well, I don't think there's any reason to raise just yet. We could. I mean, this is definitely a possibility of a steal. I kind of think, if we have the queen jack, queen 10 of clubs, why would we raise now and get into fold? I almost think if we get another club out there, then that gives us a chance that he would call one more. So I'm not entirely sure that we are going to be raising here. I don't think we're calling straight draws anymore. I think we're going to have our flush draws, our isolated flush draws. I think we are gearing up now for a bluff if a club comes. But I think we're calling top pair plus and then these flush draws and seeing what happens. So I did call, and then three spades hits. Doesn't really change anything. So now Villain bets, and he went to half pot, and now he actually sized down, and to me this looks kind of like a slightly scared bet here. I think two pair would bet larger. I kind of think I mean, maybe he's concerned that I have the flush draw, possibly, or that I had the flush. I don't know why you would bet some of these value hands like two pair or top pair. Kind of think this is probably looking more like a bluff, a middle pair, and maybe he goes for value, for three streets of value with like a big hand. Tough to say. So here, I don't think we're folding. If we have a play, we can raise. We can kind of shove because I kind of think he's scared. So if we had, let's say, the queen of clubs, I think we could easily go ahead and shove as a bluff. I think if we do that, we're going to balance it with our flush, with our actual flush. But I think sets, two pair, top pair, they're all showdown. I think if we raise the sets, Villain's just going to probably fold all of his junk. And that's kind of why we have some of our missed flushes on there. So I think I'm okay with a call here. He shows 5-4, so this was the hand that had 5-4. So he was bluffing the entire way. Really, that would kind of be close to the Jack 10, 10-9 hands. I didn't have it in his range because I didn't think he would be playing that, but obviously he did. So kind of going back to his pre-flop range. If he's doing it with 5-4, he's probably making that raise with most other hands in his range too, and it's good. So we can kind of take a note that he was, triple barreled bluff with a 5 high on that. So if we see him again, we know that we could probably just gonna have to call down with top pair type hands. How do I rate my hand here? I think I got stubborn. I think that's probably why I called ultimately. But at the same time, when we review the hand now and seeing that I had a min raise, I think it kind of makes sense that Villain's going to be attacking and just going to keep attacking us because, min raise, players who min raise tend to be bad. So maybe he was hoping that we could make a fold, but those types of players, if they call the flop and they call the turn, they're probably not going to call the river. I mean, your hope at this point is, with 89.5 is to bet pot or just shove, try to get your fold equity, and you could possibly do that with your nut hands, and possibly with a bluff. I think occasionally you're going to get called, and I think you're going to get called by somebody like me that has ace-5 here, saying, you know what, it just doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? Why would you bet that large when you have a value type hand? I made the mistake with the min raise. I don't mind the call. I didn't catch the call. I thought I was calling in position, and then I called the flop, and then I called the turn, thinking, oh man, that's a scare card. If he checks the river, I'm going to probably check down with ace-5, but any other hand that I have, I'm probably going to bet as a bluff, try to get him to fold better hands. So if I had those pocket pairs, I think I could bet and hopefully get him to fold like a king-queen or like an ace-jack type hand. All right, hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, look tomorrow for another.